Do you guys bite your lips or the inside of your cheek when you're eating?
Constantly.
I have a sore right here.
Okay.
I,
So do I.
on three separate occasions, bit the exact same spot.
I have a part of my mouth that is like more, like there's literal scar tissue there. It is thickened because I bite it constantly. I
So-
just bit my tongue as I said that.
Like how is it possible that I drove in a car to get here, yet we still bite our mouths when we talk and when we eat.
Yeah.
Like it happens way
All
too
the
often.
time.
Yeah.
Something we do naturally.
Yeah.
We can
have
still
to
mess
do
it up.
We have to. It's required for survival to be able to
I
chew and swallow.
I could, if I put my mind to it, do advanced calculus. And I still bite my mouth when I talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even eating related. Like I'll just find myself talking in my classroom and be like, "Oh, okay, I'm bleeding now, so that's good."
It just happens.
I don't know how. Like my mouth is the same. Like
It
I don't
has
know.
not changed.
Did you guys have braces?
Yeah.
No.
So does it happen more or less with braces? I was thinking about that, like, because that would be the only like change in size of like your teeth.
I
So
mean,
how is it?
Like, here's the thing. The change with braces is slow, and you kind of notice you're biting things more and weird when you have braces. But I haven't had them for like 5, 6, 7 years now. My mouth has been pretty much the same for
yet-
close to a decade now.
That's weird. I don't understand how that's possible, to be honest. Like, I mean, that's the end of my question. I'm just like confused as to why. Because I have a mark
I
on the
bet
inside of my lip right now.
These pro athletes that we watch do just incredible feats of coordination and physical talent. Also,
Bite
their tongues constantly.
It's something we have in common, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Trout probably bites his tongue.
I'm honestly surprised we haven't had a scenario in an NFL game where someone like literally bites their tongue off.
Don't.
Seriously.
I'm pretty sure that has happened.
Because it's just like
also.
you've got like you see so many pictures of quarterbacks like running on the move and they got their tongue hanging out as they're getting ready to throw. I was like, dude, put that thing back in.
Yeah.
Like,
Seriously,
put
what are you doing?
What are you
away.
doing?
Yeah.
Which that's the.
kind of the point of mouth guards.
But
though.
like, there's a lot of people who don't wear mouth
I know.
guards in the NFL.
And that
Yeah.
terrifies me.
Yeah,
because,
why would you
because
not?
Getting teeth knocked out or biting my tongue are two things that maybe they're not the most painful, but in my brain they are the most uncomfortable things that could happen while playing a sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet hockey people have like 2 teeth that are their own in their mouth.
Yeah, because
all of them are gone.
Like they're at the point where mouth guard doesn't even matter because if you're getting a 6-pound piece of rubber hooked into your mouth, it's not gonna save you.
Yeah. Also, can you explain, thinking about hockey, how it's legal to just have a helmet and not have anything covering your face? Like, I get those guys are like here we go. Like, I'm going to just fight you type of person. But, like, how is that literally legal? That's like the leather helmets of football, essentially.
Mouths
How is
don't
that
matter.
legal? I mean, but
they
what about
pro-
your face?
They protect the brain. That's all that matters.
I mean, on the top they do,
Yeah.
but none of this part of the actual
no,
important
like
features.
when you see a guy get checked in like shoulder to the face, I'm like, dude, put a face mask on.
Right.
What are you doing?
That would save you so much pain.
Or like when goalies didn't have to wear helmets. Like, it was like, really? That like, they might straight up die tonight. Like,
Yeah. There's a guy, a full dude, coming at you faster than people can run.
Yep.
On knives with a puck of rubber. He is going to just whip at you as hard as he can.
and you got your glove.
Yeah.
Hope you
can
catch it.
stop.
I don't know, man.
It's
That's
like
weird.
it's like if pitchers in baseball, like, they don't wear helmets because they don't get hit at very often. But if the ball path was only towards the pitcher, there was no other option for that, and it was just like, well, hope you're fast.
Yeah.
Hope you're quick.
Hope you can do this.
Get
and
out of there.
Save your life. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys bite various parts of your mouth. Too.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better.
Give Ira Glass nothing but a low pass filter and just let him.
What does Ira Glass even talk about? Is it just
Who
like?
knows?
Also, this is it's actually picking up. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one.
Gosh,
Just-
that sounds incredible.
That doesn't even sound real, to be honest.
Yeah, that's too good.
Stop sniffling.
but it's also, I imagine, would probably get a little annoying after like an hour and a half. So,
Well, lucky
So
for
does
us.
the content.
If you've made it an hour and a half into one of these, you're doing better than we are.
Yeah, that's like that's a
I'm
torture
mentally
device.
checked out by 20 minutes in.
yeah, Anthony, I had a quick question for you before we dive in. TJ and I were talking about this at brunch earlier today. Laura and I have started looking at wedding venues for next fall. And we were going through, we toured like, was that 6? Toured 6. Finally found one that we wanted. But in literally half of them, there was no space for the groom or his party to get ready. There's just like no room. It was like, oh yeah, either you just show up ready to go in your tux, or like you throw your stuff in the bride's room and just like put your jacket on when you get in there. When you and Liz were looking for a venue, did you notice that as well?
So, for context, we visited one venue.
Okay.
And that's where we got married.
Okay. It was a great venue.
It was
So-
awesome.
I guess we were more concerned about her having an area.
Okay.
All of my guys got dressed in our hotel anyway.
Okay.
And just more so like sat in the room. So because we couldn't be into our place until noon or whatever it was, and we were going to
Okay.
start pictures a half an hour later anyway.
Okay.
So we like took some pictures of us like pretending to work on our cufflinks and like, yeah, do my tie. So like we wore shirt and pants there and just brought everything and put everything else on there.
Okay.
So I guess to answer your question, we were more concerned about having her have a place
Okay.
than us. But
Okay.
it was nice to have a physical location. So like none of us saw Liz before
Right.
her and I saw each other. But it was not a deal breaker by any means.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So maybe I'm just being a little. And like,
I think it might also boil down to if you have a hotel room or not.
that's right.
Because, like, I didn't have a hotel room for the wedding party. None of us, we were all local except
Yeah.
for one. So we got a room to get ready in at Hazeltine, which also happened to be the golf simulator. So, like,
That was a lot of fun.
it was pretty sweet.
But like I don't know, because all the places we've looked at have either been in St. Paul or Stillwater, and there wouldn't be a hotel to get ready in.
Yeah.
And so just, I don't know. And there was also just like some very mild sexism. Just like, I was like, oh, guys don't care about how they look. We'll just, you all just show up and you're there anyway. It's like, no, okay. Like maybe that's the case for a lot of dudes. Like, I don't know. I care about how I look.
sure.
I
For
want to look good on my wedding day. And
No,
the
you
fact
don't. You're a slob.
the fact
Be a slob.
the fact that I can't even get a room with enough space for 7 people to put their suits and have just like a mirror
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Like the place we found that I think we're going to go with, that has a place, and bare minimum, but it has a bathroom and a closet and 2 mirrors in the room where the guys get ready.
And so thinking about the other weddings that I've been in, that's about as much as we would have had. Right.
And that's all I want.
yeah.
That's
And that's not I don't think you're asking too much by any means. Like you're just trying to, because like, yeah, I spent so much time that I would like to not admit how much time I spent on my hair that morning. But it was like, yeah, I like want it to look good.
Yeah.
Like that's not that's a normal
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a bunch of pictures.
Yeah.
That you will
On-
have for the rest of
rest
your
of your
life.
life.
On
Yeah.
one of, like, the most important days in your entire life. You
Yeah.
want to look nice.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And so, like, there were 3 venues that just didn't have a place. There was one venue that had a place for the guys, but it was like stereotypical man cave. It's like, oh yeah, dudes are gonna come here. They got like leather recliners and a big TV and a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
It was like, do you have like a place where I can hang my suit? No, but we got a beer fridge if you want it. Like, yeah, but how about a mirror for me to look and make sure I don't have anything on my face? A PlayStation 5.
Stop thinking about the mirrors. We what Liz did, which I thought was a really good idea, is we bought like these, like, I don't know how tall they are, like maybe 5-foot mirrors for like $7 at Walmart.
Oh, dang.
And we carried them to the bridal suite. so that everyone could look at, their whole get up. And we had one in our groom area, or right outside of our groom area, that we like. It was just nice to be like, okay, yep, my shirt's tucked in, like all of that. So that's an option too. They're pretty cheap, and I think we returned them afterwards. Whoops. But it was
kind of a rental.
Yeah, easy enough. Like we had fingerprints on it and whatever, but it was like, okay. So I don't know, if you want like a full body thing and they don't have one, then that's an option too.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not even engaged yet. It's like 18 months out from the wedding. So it's like, all these details are very far off in the
Negotiable.
distance. But it was just one of
figure
those
it out.
things like, I just noticed myself getting unreasonably mad every time I went in and someone made a passive comment like, oh yeah, dudes don't care. They're just dudes. They'll just show up. I'm like, no. I was just seething throughout all of these tours after they mentioned that.
And
Also, just from like a marketing perspective,
Yeah,
like,
not a good idea.
You should probably confirm whether the dude who's standing in front of you is one of those guys before you start making the comments about those guys.
And like when we go on
because
these
some guys are very like they leave you in the dust with how particular they are.
Yeah.
And when I went to all these tours, like I wanted to look nice because like this is, I don't know, it just felt like I wasn't like dressed up in full suit or anything, but it was like, okay, this is like an important tour. I want to make a good impression. And so I spent probably, like a half hour or so making sure that I looked good, getting right clothes on, getting my hair nice. And the fact that they just kind of like blow over that and like, oh yeah, guys don't care. It's like, are you literally not looking at me right now?
Look at
this,
Am I
man.
chopped
Hello.
liver to you?
I'm here.
sorry, no.
Look at me.
I
look great.
And I feel like out of the three of us, you are the most particular about how you've dressed. You've always dressed really nice compared to us. No offense.
Oh no,
but,
none taken. I'm well aware of this.
I just think historically, like even in college, it was always you were always looking sharper than we were.
Yes.
So we,
Without fail.
like, I think having at least a couple mirrors is a good call.
I just want a mirror in a bathroom. That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and you don't have like a lot to do that day, so you're going to be sitting for a little bit. So it's nice to have a bathroom too that you don't have to like
And also
walk all the way across.
maybe
the hall.
a golf simulator.
Yeah, if they have one of those, I mean, right? Yeah. And
Just
like
gonna twist my arm.
and mirrors and PS5 is good. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But like
Like
let's just get
4K
the-
no los dos on the man
Right.
cave stuff. Big TV, PS5, great. If it also has a bathroom and a mirror,
Yeah.
like
Not too much to
We
ask.
can have both. The one again at Hazeltine, like we were watching the Players Championship on a big TV.
Yeah.
They had a bunch of couches, the golf simulator, putting green, and also like a lot of space and closets and places to hang. A bathroom that's just yours right down the hall. Just best of both worlds.
Yeah. That's something that you don't think about either is like I'm carrying my jacket. Well, I
Yeah.
don't want to just throw it on a chair
No.
right now. Like,
No.
I need this for like another hour, and then after that it can get as wrinkly as it wants.
Right.
Like that's you just got to get through the initial pictures and blah blah
Yep.
blah. And also I panicked for a second because you're like, we're looking at wedding venues, and I was like, did I miss him getting engaged?
No.
And then I was like, oh God, what? When did that happen? How did I not know? And then you're like, we haven't been engaged yet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, 'cause it was like
my God.
we were talking about it. We were thinking, probably like a fall engagement, so fall 2023, and then fall 2024 for the actual wedding. I'm like, oh, cool. So we got plenty of time. But then Laura and I are both very excited people. Like when we have something that we're looking forward to, like we jump in, like we start planning.
Yeah.
So like, oh, we'll just start looking at venues. And already venues are booking up like 18, 20 months out. So we're like, okay, well, we need to get on this now. And we figure like, well, a down payment, a non-refundable down payment on a venue is probably more of a commitment than a ring anyway.
Yep.
So,
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Like you guys already know.
yeah.
So
So I've started calling Laura my pre-once.
Love that.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys dating? Mm-mm.
No, she's
No.
No.
Oh, you're engaged.
Not
Nope.
that either.
somewhere right in the middle. Pre-once.
That's awesome. Fiance.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it's exciting.
It
It's,
is.
It's a lot of work, and I feel like I don't know if they'll ever get like caught up per se, but like COVID has just because everybody's like, oh yeah, well we're rescheduling to the next year, and then it was the same way with us. We got engaged in August, and we were calling for next September, October, and we started looking right away, and they were like, yeah, we have one Saturday available. It was like for next year, and they're like, yeah. And then we're already booking into like 23 and 20. I'm like, what is happening? Oh my gosh.
The
crazy.
venue that we're going with, they had every week in August and every week in September booked up. We were looking for a September. they had that booked up for like 5 or 6 months before that point.
Dude.
Literally, like maybe 2 days before we did our tour, a wedding had to move from September. So they had one September date open that we were looking at, like, okay, we're going to jump on this right
Yeah.
now.
That's
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of insanity, sports.
So a lot of this is going to be taken up by baseball talk, but I want to start with March Madness.
Are you going to intro the show?
Oh yeah, hi, welcome to the Q4 podcast, your favorite podcast that sometimes forgets to intro the show and tell you what podcast you're listening to. Although if you're here, you probably know.
You know.
You know why you're here.
Yeah.
And it's not for sports.
It's for wedding advice, food advice,
Not biting your tongue.
all of your basic necessities, right?
So March Madness has maybe that was
For whom
what a
the bell
sound
tolls.
that
I
was.
accidentally hit the boom arm.
I hope
thought
that came through.
I thought the shock mount was supposed to take care of that, but evidently
Wow.
not.
Anyways, March Madness has been maybe more madness than any other year I can remember. I want to intro this by saying I'm part of a bracket pool. All right? I made a bracket. Lisa, my wife, my illustrious wife, made a bracket. I tried. Okay? I put in thought. I put in a very small amount, but research on, which team matchup I think would be better. Which underdogs I thought were stronger than their seeding, which overdogs were weaker than their seeding. I put in thought. Lisa picked based on which mascot, not even that would win in a fight, which mascot she liked. Mm-hmm. And this involved anti-Wildcats because, in her words, there are too many of them.
Fair.
That's a justifiable point. Yeah.
Voting for no play-in teams because if they can't even decide who they are, then why would she even pick them? And because of her one familial tie to a large school, she is the one surviving bracket that has a team still in it picked to win, and that is the Miami Hurricanes.
Dang.
Wow. Okay. What is that the familial tie? Or
That's the familial
okay.
tie.
Okay.
Yep, her dad is an alum of the U.
Really?
Yeah, so
The U.
And every time you do that with your hands, it looks like you're doing a W. Like, it's really hard
Yeah,
to
you
make
gotta
a U with your hands.
Stretch
Really
those
got to
hands.
curve the thumbs.
Do they get mad? This is a small sidebar. Do they get mad when people in Minnesota say the U as the U of M?
See, they can't, because I've also heard people say the U of M, and I'm like, oh, the Gophers? And they're like, no, the Wolverines. And I'm like, oh, gosh,
Oh,
you
what?
call that the U of M
I didn't
too?
even know that was a thing.
I
Yeah.
feel like every state has their U.
There's also the University of Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
M.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
No one cares.
But just like if
no
you're
one cares about the Turtles.
if you're from Iowa and you say the U, you're probably referring to University of Iowa. If you're from Minnesota, you say the U, it's the U of M, which is the University of Minnesota, not the U of M, University of Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I guess that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But I feel like that, like Miami is like, that's like nationwide, the U. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's more nationwide than other ones.
I guess that's fair.
Like, I don't know why, but I mean, their thing is a U, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That feels almost, also, that's sidebars to the sidebar. That's
Yeah.
a little unfair.
yeah.
Yeah.
To
Like,
claim the U.
there are
for
other
yourself.
universities.
You're not the only university, Miami.
yeah.
There are several in every state.
And then also, sidebar to the sidebar to the sidebar. Like, I know we have a hashtag about this, but Miami, Ohio, that should not exist. Why is there a Miami of Ohio? Because every time they're like Miami of Ohio, and it's like, oh, the worst one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like,
They should call themselves an Ohio State University. That's
there you go.
that was
Yes.
that's the greatest sign I've ever seen on the college game day is just an Ohio State University.
and Ohio
And-
State.
I think they should roll with it because I go to Miami. Oh, you go to the U. Well, in Ohio.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay.
So like
We shouldn't be talking.
that. So the one that the Gophers play in like week 1.
Yeah, like
Is what you're
the
saying.
green one.
Yeah.
Nobody. Okay. Anyway.
Anyway, with Creighton's loss last night. Not Creighton.
Cre-
Gonzaga. Gonzaga's loss last night. I get
Mm-hmm.
the two of them mixed up, and I do not know why. Lisa is officially the only bracket still surviving. I Who did I even have? I had Marquette winning it all. My bracket's name is I can't believe I picked Marquette to win it all. And
And here we are.
rings
Here we are.
true. I'm mad at myself about it. However, I would not have picked the U. So
Yeah.
there's that. I would have picked any team that's not still going.
I really don't get invested into March Madness. Like every once in a while I'll do a bracket if, the company I'm working for has a bracket going. I didn't do one this year. But it was last Thursday, right when the tournament started. It was last Friday. It was on St. Patrick's Day. I went out to a sports bar with my brothers, Laura and Therese, Nick's fiance. And they just happened to have Purdue FDU on. And so
That game was insane.
insane. And so we were just sitting there, like we walk in and it was already maybe like midway through the first half. And by the end of it, Nick, Christian, and I are yelling at the TV, like pounding our hands on the table, hoping FDU can pull it out. And it just, the ability for March Madness to just captivate with all these different storylines is awesome. And like right now still, like FAU in the Final Four, a 9 seed, no 9 seed has ever won it. The highest seed that has ever won is an 8 seed. That happened once back in the 80s, I think. So the fact that there is still just like, records to be broken, new things to happen is just...
I think that the format of taking 64 teams and regardless of their conference, just kind of throwing them in a pool and then saying, let's see what happens, is a brilliant way to do playoffs.
I know it's
100%.
not feasible. And I know we've talked about this before on this podcast. I would love it if NCAA football had a March Madness style tournament.
64 team. We know it's not feasible because you can only play one football game a week. It's a lot more physically demanding on you, and that would thus take longer than the regular season.
Although, even if you trimmed it, so instead of 64 teams, you have a 32 team playoff. You do one game a week. That's a 5-week playoff. That's long, but and then also too, if you make that first round, so the 16 games, make those your bowl games.
Right. And
So
just
you're
call
still
them the
you're still getting your bowl games, and then you have the opportunity for the University of St. Thomas to play Alabama in the championship.
Yeah. And March Madness is so fun because you are taking the Purdue FD Fairleigh Dickinson University, a team that didn't even win their own conference, a conference I had never heard of, and they beat Purdue.
Only the second time that a 16 seed has won.
And Purdue was not just a 1 seed, but a dominant 1
They
seed.
were the 1 seed. They were supposed to be.
Yeah.
They was a good team.
Well, they have a dude who's 8'9", and it's ridiculous. Oh my! And the tallest guy on FDU was 6'5" or something like that, and he had to guard him,
insane.
just looking up.
It was
at
an
him.
insane game.
I think that there's something, and maybe it's because only NCAA basketball does it, but there is just something about it where you literally cannot predict it. But everyone knows that going into it. And then if you listen to the stuff, you listen to podcasts or people on ESPN talk about it, and it's okay, well, yeah, it's March Madness, but how is anybody going to beat Kansas? And then there's just so many of those intangibles that make it so cool. And it's totally wait a second, the 16 seed is believing. And then the number 1 seed is forgetting how to play basketball. At the end of the Purdue game, literally nobody wanted to shoot the ball. Everyone was no, please, please don't. I don't want to shoot it because
they didn't
want
to be the one to miss.
Right.
They didn't want to be the one to put the dagger in Purdue.
Yeah.
That they lost to a 16 seed.
And it's just it's so cool that literally anybody can beat anybody. And I think what was the first 116? Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah, UMCB.
Okay, yeah.
The Golden Retrievers.
Golden
Yes.
Retrievers.
So cool.
Hype.
So cool.
Ah.
But it's that's what makes it so cool. Every year it's okay, how is there not a perfect bracket, right? And then you get through midday on Friday and it's all perfect brackets are gone. And it's how is that even possible?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I think because it's just so many teams and they're all one game, where most playoffs are series, at least when you get to the professional level, right?
Yeah.
NBA, MLB, NHL, all series. And the NFL is 4, at most 5 games, right? 4 games.
5 games? What is it? Wild card? Well, the first
Wild
round,
card, division,
4.
conference, and then
Super Bowl.
championship.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in March Madness, a team has to string together
Oh, gosh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight wins to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah. That's cool,
When
man.
you take 64 teams and you say only one of you can do this, and you have to win 6 consecutive games, all bets are off.
yeah.
Because
And not
even
just-
the best teams, if you ask them, go out and win 6 straight games against 6 different opponents, they will say, we'll probably pull 5.
Yeah.
Because, like, every good team has an off day.
Yep.
And if you have an off day in round 1, sucks to be you, but Fairleigh Dickinson University is on to round 2.
Right. That's the cool part about it.
Yeah.
And I wish but also don't wish that it could be applied to more sports.
Yeah.
I feel like college especially would be, I mean, I know they do it in college. Well, they do something similar in college hockey. I don't know anything about college hockey.
College
so
hockey rules.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure they do something similar, but I think there's got to be a way to do it in football. And like, to me, baseball makes more sense to do a series.
Yeah.
Just because it's like anybody could literally beat anybody 10-1, just like randomly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But also for basketball, it just makes the most sense. Like, why not
Yeah.
throw everybody in the NBA in there together and just see what happens?
Yeah.
Like, the
Yeah.
cream's going to rise to the top, right?
Like, the NBA series base for playoffs is
It just takes
doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Oh my gosh,
Because
yeah.
basketball is not a game necessarily of streaking in series, and I mean it is, but at the same time it's not.
Like, within the game it is.
Within the
but-
game,
yeah.
yes. But between games, like in the regular season, there's not a ton
You get
of
what?
series.
2,
games,
maybe
3?
3 games in a row against
Yeah.
a team every once in a while. But
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're playing 7-game series.
Yeah.
The NHL does it, but the NHL sees such a wild swing between game to game because you got different goalies out there. You got, guys
Right.
are hurt because it's such a physical game.
Yeah.
Basketball, if they just wanted to just rip them out game by game,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I love the format. I also, this is maybe weird, but I think Thursday and Friday, like the first Thursday, not the like boring 11v11 or 16v6, but like the actual like Thursday, Friday. I think that those are my favorite days.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I'm like, whatever.
I
Like,
haven't watched much. I watched
Same.
or I listened. I sat out in the car with Lisa to listen to the end of the Miami game when they beat Houston because that was hype.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, Lisa, here we go.
Yeah.
This is your
Here's your
year.
team. But it's something about those first 2 days where it's literally like 10-10 and just basketball
chaos.
all day.
Yeah.
And you care about the FDUs or you care that Kennesaw State might beat
Yeah.
Xavier. Like that just is interesting.
Yeah.
And
It's
you're like,
fun.
I don't know anything about either of these teams, but I am slamming the table that this team beats
It's
the other team.
fun to watch a group of 20 guys who no one has ever heard of suddenly show up and stomp the favorites.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
fantastic.
fun because, like, yeah, I feel bad for the guys at Purdue who lost but I feel better for these guys at Fairleigh Dickinson. No one's ever thought about
Yeah.
them before.
Well, and
and now they're in the limelight. They get their moment to shine, and they took it. And
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
awesome.
And it sucks because, they're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids
Yeah.
who are just like, they are carrying the weight of that defeat, the Purdue kids. And it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, they're at Purdue. They're going to be back next year. Like,
Yeah.
that's Fairleigh Dickinson. Who knows if they make the tournament again for like the next 4 or 5 decades.
Yeah.
UMCB hasn't been back.
Yeah.
Right. Right. They have an awesome Twitter presence now, but
They
that's
do.
about it.
We love them, but
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun. It's just it's different than other sports, and that's what makes it cool, I think.
yeah.
Speaking of really fun tournaments, the World Baseball Classic.
dude.
Oh
Gosh.
my
Dude.
It
gosh.
was that I finished. I was I was maybe tweeting too much from the Offside Sports account. Just without even context, I was tweeting things like Shohei Ohtani is the greatest athlete to ever live. But I could not have written it better than how it went.
Yeah.
From the start, from the get-go, we've got the U.S. Venezuela game where Luis Ariz hits 2 home runs.
Yeah, all of a sudden. I mean, it's the effect. Once he's gone from Minnesota, it doesn't matter if it's World or not. Yep.
And he's in his new home stadium, which means he's going to be cranking dingers constantly. I mean, he was already the batting champ. We love Luis Ariz. But, of course, he goes yard twice. The U.S. comes back to win, 9-8 was the final score there? They go on, close game after close game, against Japan. Mike Trout versus Shohei Ohtani. And I tweeted this from the Offside account. In the 8th inning, I tweeted, if this comes down to Shohei versus Mike Trout, that's almost too storybook.
Yeah.
And it did.
And I was sitting watching. I knew that the U.S. might lose. The team that I was like every World Series, or not World Series, but world event, the World Cup, that you're always just the Olympics. You're just like, I want to see we win.
Yeah.
But right there, I was just grinning. I'm like, this is the greatest sports spectacle I have ever gotten to watch.
And
it was awesome. And it went to a full count.
Yeah.
And he struck him out.
Dude, that's
you. So good.
That's you standing in your backyard when you're a kid going, okay, bottom of the 9th, full count, best pitcher in the world. Like that's a storybook, man.
Yeah.
So that's a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm still smiling. I'm thinking about it. I know the U.S. lost. That sucks. But GOAT, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes me really, really mad how underappreciated the World Baseball Classic is in the United States. I mean, there are so many people, you scroll through, if you search any major league team on Twitter, during the past month, there are going to be a bunch of people saying, oh, why are our starters going to play in a meaningless tournament? They're going to get injured. And then when real baseball starts, they're going to be out. I was like, no, this is real baseball.
This is the most real baseball.
Every single game had packed stands.
Yeah.
The energy was electric. You could feel that through the TV. And just watching, I mean, it is the Olympics of baseball. I mean,
yes.
Hearing...
That's the whole point. The same thing with the World Cup or the Olympics.
Yeah.
Premier League players are going to miss time to be on their World Cup teams. That's the whole point. It is the pinnacle. It is the best of the best from around the world. Everyone in the world has been considered, and these 9 guys in this country, out of the 330 million people that live here, these 9 guys plus their pitchers have been chosen to be the representatives. And then over in Japan, those 9 guys.
And it's really cool. And a lot of MLB talent went to represent their countries.
Yeah.
The Cardinals had 19 players play for World Baseball Classic teams. Lars Nootbaar was on Team Japan. His mother is Japanese. And so
I will say, the moment Lars Nootbaar showed up on Team Japan, I had the kind of the head tilt of like, what?
Wait a second.
Lars Nootbaar?
His classic
and then I
Japanese
looked it up
name.
and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's actually pretty sweet. I love that.
Or you have Tommy Edman playing for Team Korea. I mean, just these players who are able to go back and, honor their family heritage by playing the game they love for the country from which they come.
Yeah. Watching Luis Ariz come up, I'm like, let's go, dude. Let's go.
To hear Adam Wainwright talk about what it meant to pitch for Team USA. I mean, it's hard not to just get up and salute your TV after hearing them play that. Or there was a play, I believe it was in the quarterfinal or the semifinal. Nolan Arenado hits an RBI triple to put USA up. He had the smoothest slide into third base, gets up and just salutes right away. I was about to swear. They're like, yes, that is awesome. And so or getting that
Shohei Ohtani's go-ahead double to send Japan to the championship, every single game is so good. And again, you're watching, this is not meaningless baseball. This is the most meaningful baseball.
Yes. and the fact that it is driving interest in the sport worldwide. You're getting MLB level talent going literally across the globe to represent their country. During the finals, 97.4% of all television sets in Japan were tuned in to the World
sick.
Baseball
Let's
Classic.
go!
You have emerging superstars. I mean, already like superstars like Shohei Ohtani. Everybody loves Lars Nootbaar in Japan now. He is an icon.
What's the name of the Japan's pitcher, 21 years old, throwing like 103 heat?
Yeah.
Like that dude is gonna be a star.
Yeah.
It's amazing baseball. It is playoff level baseball in March.
Yeah.
And the fact that Major League Baseball has gone through what it's gone through over the last couple of years, having the pandemic shortened season, having the labor strike, having TV negotiating rights now all out of whack because, Sinclair is they're dumbasses. Major League Baseball needs this.
Yeah.
They need people to tune into baseball. They need people to get excited about baseball, and having your biggest stars representing their country. I'm sorry, you can't do it any better than that. And the fact that there are people who are getting upset at players going to do this, I mean, like, they're getting reps. They're playing. They're getting ready for the season. It's during spring training. It's not like they're leaving in the middle, like right after the All-Star break to go do this. Like, no, it could not be more perfectly timed for Major League Baseball. And it's just more baseball.
Yeah. And like when it comes to worldwide sports, the World Cup, the Olympics, there's something so beautiful about knowing that the entire world is tuned into this. That there's one thing that everyone can come together and just be like, let's go. Just one. That's all we're asking. And everyone on these teams, they're not during the regular season, soccer, baseball, what have you. They're on contracts for teams. They're playing for the teams. They might really care about the teams, right? We hope the players love where they play and all that. But at the end of the day, they're there because they have a contract to play there. For the World Cup, for the World Baseball Classic, these are guys representing their home. That is
added gear.
More important in my mind. That is the most important baseball because it's actually bringing a group of guys together to represent a common home. That is awesome.
Yeah.
You're watching guys play for the Czech Republic. Or Czechia, sorry. These guys, like, half of them are cooks and doctors and librarians, and they're the best baseball players in Czechia, so they're like, let's go.
Yeah, that's what we got.
It's so cool.
Yeah. I hope it, and I wonder, because this to me feels like the biggest or the most attention it's gotten on social media and stuff in recent memory. So I think, like, I hopefully it gets to a point where in the future it's like, okay, like, here we go. Like, this is, the MLB season starting, but we need to do this first.
And
you know what I
COVID
mean?
obviously through, like, the last one was in 2017. It was supposed to be in 2020. COVID was literally happening as, like,
At its
lockdown
height.
started when the Classic would have happened.
Yeah.
And the entire world was on fire. So it makes sense that this season it feels different because we haven't had it in 6 years, and last time it happened, honestly, I didn't even know about it last time it happened.
Same.
Had no idea.
And now it was everywhere this year.
Yeah,
and like
it
it helps when you
awesome.
have storylines.
It was electric.
Yeah. I think I will say, like I said this last year, the fact that Shohei Ohtani is not just unanimous, not even discussed as the most valuable player in the world is beyond me
it's
even
not
more
even
now.
the MLB. He is the most valuable athlete.
Yes.
In the entire world.
It is. I don't think we understand what's happening right here. Like he had the go-ahead double against Mexico, and then he struck out Mike Trout to win the whole thing. Like, hang on a second. Those are two incredibly different things, and it's only him that can do that.
He hit a game-winning double off of a pitcher that was good enough on a team. Mexico is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
In terms of their talent. Hits a double to win the game
in the
off
biggest
of a
moment.
good pitcher.
Yep.
And then strikes out the best batter we've ever seen play the game.
Like, dude, he is the best athlete in the world right now. Just there's no
what-
argue against it.
Yeah,
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
At the start of the tournament, looking at the rosters, I mean, teams had some good rosters. Looking at Team USA, it looked like an all-star roster.
Yeah.
It was
It's
the
like
dream team.
Yes.
the dream team, and the fact that another team was able to come there. And Japan, this is their third championship. It was 06 and 09
Yeah.
that they won the first two. So it's been a while, but also a really good team. But just getting all-star level baseball for a month. It's a month of all-star games.
Yeah. And just new. There's
as-
always new names that come out of
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
new superstars are born.
I'm gonna go back to Lars Nootbaar just because I love the dude, and also when he started the World Baseball Classic, he had I think maybe like 15 or 16,000 Instagram followers. He now has more Instagram followers than the St. Louis Cardinals, most of which are from Japan
Let's
because
go.
people love him
Let's
Yeah.
over
go.
there.
That's sick.
And so it's just cool to see the kind of this cultural connect. Everybody, as you were mentioning earlier, people from Japan, people from Mexico, people from Cuba, people from Europe, people from Canada, people from the United States coming together to enjoy baseball and enjoy really, really good baseball.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even mad that Team USA lost because it was just such a fun game.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got Ohtani Trout.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
And it even felt that way where the world was rooting for their teams, but they were just rooting for baseball. And
Yeah.
just like everyone was happy. It was just good.
It was
for
good.
everyone.
And the argument about injuries too, it's like, well, they could get injured in a spring training game. That
Teddy
means
Bridgewater's career was ended
Yes.
because he stepped wrong on a walk through practice.
And,
Injuries. Edwin Diaz is out for the season because he got injured while celebrating.
it sucks.
It sucks. It absolutely sucks. But at the same time,
What are you going to do about it?
Right.
There's nothing.
freak injuries happen constantly.
Adam Wainwright.
I have dislocated my shoulder sleeping.
Adam Wainwright.
okay, we'll have to get back
Maybe
to
that
that one in a
says
second.
more about me than it says.
I think
Shohei Ohtani, Edwin Diaz, TJ.
so Adam
Same
Wainwright.
conversation.
Adam Wainwright is starting the season on the IL. He pitched in the World Baseball Classic, full bill of health, came back and strained his groin in the weight room. It happens.
Or who was it that dropped a? It was the pitcher Joe Musgrove. Musgrove dropped a dumbbell on his foot. He's out for like 4 months after getting one of the largest contracts in the MLB.
Love that.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
freak injuries happen, and injuries
Especially
happen,
to baseball players.
and
Yeah.
especially during spring training,
Yeah.
during this time when people are ramping back up
Right.
and pitchers are pushing the limits of their dominant arm, trying to throw an object 100 miles an hour. I mean, it's gonna happen. People are going to get injured. I'm sorry. Using the World Baseball, saying like, oh, we canceled the World Baseball Classic because MLB players are getting injured before they start playing real baseball. It's like, no, dude, I want to swear at those people so badly. Just like, heck off. Just get out of here.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Jose Altuve broke his thumb because he got hit by a pitch. Same thing can happen in literal batting practice.
Yeah.
It's a fluke thing that, it wouldn't have happened right then if he wasn't in the baseball classic. Could have happened in that spring training game he was supposed to play that same day.
And
Because that's also an MLB pitcher throwing 100 miles an hour.
And talk about meaningless. Like spring training is like literally
most
meaningless. Like
Yeah.
it's about getting ready for the season.
It's about getting ready for the season.
It's essentially scrimmages.
Yeah,
right?
it's a chance for players in minor leagues, on minor league teams, to prove that they're ready to move up to the next level. So there are reasons for spring training. It's important, but the wins and losses don't matter.
Nope.
And for your major league guys who would be playing in the World Baseball Classic, spring training is
Nothing.
it's nothing.
What,
Right.
Are you telling me that, again, these guys are professional athletes getting a chance to represent their home. Do you think Shohei Ohtani would rather be pitching in a grapefruit league game or pitching in the final for his home?
Yeah.
And it's once again kind of selfishly looking at Major League Baseball and players coming back to play for MLB. That is value. That's almost postseason experience right there. That is valuable experience for these players. And Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado went and played for Team USA, they look phenomenal. They are ready for the season. And I don't think they would be as ready as they are right now if they just did spring training. Paul Goldschmidt historically starts off season slow, but he was playing really well at the World Baseball Classic. He is looking like the MVP that he was last season. I mean,
I think this links to something I have been thinking about and wanted to talk about. It's a little bit of a more serious topic than the normal Q4, but these guys are people who, have pride in their home and want to play games that are meaningful to them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always matter what is quote unquote meaningful for fans of the Tampa Bay Rays. If those players get to do what's meaningful, like I was thinking about this in the way of like trades, where we look at these trades and we're like, sometimes maybe that could have been done a little better for the actual people involved in the trades.
But people finding out that they've been cut or traded on social media, like the team hasn't even told them. Like that,
it's
or in an interview after or something.
These guys need to be treated better. And it starts from the fans understanding that, like, when a guy wants to go and pitch for his home country, where he is proud to be from, that is way more meaningful than pitching in some minor league field in Arizona to get quote unquote ready for the season.
And you
100%.
look at the World Cup. Like, the World Cup is obviously on a different level.
Oh yeah,
but it's the same idea. It's like that's great if we win our Premier League or we win La Liga or whatever. But if we win a World Cup, that just trashes everything else.
It's literally called international service in
that,
soccer. Like they are being called up for their country.
Yeah. Like, how sick is that?
It's
and also
so cool.
Along that same line, the salute celebration is so sick. So sick. And just to see like guys that wouldn't usually play together playing together, and it's always so hype. Like it's never just like, hey, don't worry about it. It's like screaming and yelling. And like Trey Turner, he was insane.
It was
just like, he hit a home run. Yeah, I hit another one. Yep, that's like 8 in 2 days. Yeah, like just, oh my gosh.
Or back to the major storyline of the final, Shohei versus Mike Trout. Like, they've never gotten to do that before.
Yeah, and how sick is that?
And you could tell each of them, they wanted it so bad because they're friends. They love each other, and they get to compete. These are competitors, athletes who they know they're both the best, and they never get to prove it to each other. And they did at the highest stage possible. That is awesome.
This is like the LeBron James, Michael Jordan debate. If LeBron James and Michael Jordan could go one-on-one against each other.
Like in their primes.
If they could go one-on-one in their primes in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Like, I mean, it is mano-a-mano in the most important point of a sport.
For sure. It's very cool to see teammates in that situation. Go ahead. I got a funny to say after this.
Please say the funny thing, because I have something that made me incredibly mad.
Okay, perfect. I saw a bunch of memes after that were like Mike Trout on Team USA, Shohei Ohtani on Team Japan, and then both of them when they're on the same team, and it's just like, how can these guys not, like, how are the Angels so bad? Like,
that was the thing that was getting me. I'm like, I'm watching the two greatest baseball players of all time play against each other. They're going to go back to the same team, and they're going to win 70 games.
And they're going to miss the playoffs.
And that makes me so sad.
I know. It's just not fair. It's like these two guys are like the
they
storyline
winning
of the World Baseball Classic.
Every single game.
Yeah, and they're going to be below 500 this year.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It is so dumb. Also, so dumb. Back to the Ohtani Trout at bat.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm giving it airtime.
Mental space.
There is some, I don't even know the guy's name, just some dumbass talking head on, I didn't see the actual show, but it came up on Twitter. The guy was like, I don't understand why people are so like captivated by Ohtani Trout. Like, it wasn't that special, wasn't that great. There's no way that Trout was going to hit it. He was going to strike out no matter what. It's like, Dude, what the hell are you talking about?
When I see stuff like that, I'm like, do you even like sports?
That's
Like,
Yeah.
why do you talk
why?
about?
You
We're,
chose
we're
to get-
here because we love. Like, this is sports, man. It's so good.
You chose this as your profession. That must mean at some deep level you enjoy sports. There is something that got you into this. When I got into journalism, when I got into reporting, I can point back at several moments and say, that's why I'm doing this. And a lot of them were sporting events. I remember the sophomore year Tommy Johnny football game. St. Thomas walks it off with 2 seconds left.
So
St. Thomas
good.
goes nuts on the sideline. I'm running down trying to get pictures. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. And you're telling me you're now old and jaded and irrelevant, and you're something like, oh, Trout Ohtani didn't matter. I was like, dude, that mattered for literally everybody
And
in the
it's
baseball
just-
world except for you.
Just trying
you
to
shut
get
up
people
and get
mad. Just trying to get people mad to get engagement on the show, and like, it's so sad.
It's so
Yeah.
sad and
'Cause
so
just
dumb.
appreciate
you know what's
It's-
so much more fun? Sitting on your couch with a big ass grin on your face because you're just so happy that you get to be alive at the same
Yeah.
time as two of the greatest baseball players to ever play.
And that's
Yes.
not to get too deep, but that's an indictment of sports culture.
Yeah,
these days. Everybody wants to be mad about something because over the last 5, 10, 15 years, that's all mainstream sports talk shows have
Yeah.
been. It's people getting mad and yelling. Everybody wants to be the next Stephen A. Smith and Skip
Yep.
Bayless because for some reason people enjoy watching that. It's-
I don't get it.
do not
I
understand
don't
it.
get it. It's
But
weird. I
you
don't
go-
understand.
You go on Twitter, you go on Bleacher Report community pages, you go on any social media platform where people are talking about sports, and everybody's arguing about something. Everybody has to be right, and if you're right, that means everybody else has to be wrong. And I just don't get it. Sports are about community. Sports are supposed to bring people together. Mike Trout is definitely happy for Shohei Ohtani.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And if he would have walked it off, Shohei would have been like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Sweet.
Mike
Exactly.
Trout isn't going to have resentment against Shohei Ohtani.
No.
He's not going to be swearing him out every time they're in the dugout. He's not going to never talk to him again because it's baseball. It's sports. It's community. They love each other and they're playing the game they love. And I
Yeah.
think both of them can appreciate how cool of a moment that was. And so that the fact that some Joe Schmo who thinks he's all that can't, I'm sorry. You're just... you and I are not watching the same thing. You and I are not the
No.
same kind of fan. I don't know what you're doing with your life. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Go
What
to-
a waste.
Yeah.
What a waste.
Why spend your time doing it?
Yeah.
If
Or-
you're just gonna be upset about
Yeah.
there are things in sports to be upset about. Don't
Oh,
don't get
especially
us
in Major
wrong.
League Baseball.
Especially in Major League Baseball. But you should be upset because you love the game.
Right.
And because you love your team and you want good.
And
right?
the fact
That was not
You want good.
you want good.
You want good.
Hashtag you want good.
Hashtag you want good.
You want good.
But when you get mad about sports or when you argue about sports, you have hot takes. It's great. We love hot takes here at the Q4 podcast. Don't get us wrong. But there's a line between having hot takes where it's still in good fun because that's what sports are. They are literal games. It is good
Yeah,
fun.
it's a sport.
There's a
Yeah.
difference between that and where your life just becomes angry.
You're just an
Because you
angry
can't
person.
take joy in the thing that's
There are
like.
so-
I'm gonna get mad about the Vikings this season. I'm gonna be mad about the Twins this season. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
all right? But I do that because I love watching the Twins, and I wouldn't rather be doing anything else.
Yeah.
And there are so many people for every single team out there. It doesn't matter if it's the Vikings, if it's the Twins, if it's the Cowboys, if it's the Cardinals, if it's the Connecticut Whale, the WNHL team, if it's the
Go Whale!
whatever team
We love
it
the
might
Whale.
be, there are people who are furious for no reason. Cardinals fans going into this season are absolutely furious that John Mozeliak didn't go out and sign another pitcher. Like, okay, cool. He didn't get another pitcher. They believe in their guys. So what? It doesn't affect your life at all. Cardinals, what if they go, okay, what's the difference if they go 93 or they get 93 wins and they win the division, or they get 85 wins and they make the wild card? That's not going to change your life. That's not going to affect how you do your day-to-day life. So why spend so much time being so mad about something that you have no control over and that at the end of the day does not matter?
And
If the
this is-
Cardinals do not win another World Series for the next 25 years, I'll be sad. But that does not affect how I go about my day-to-day life. That does not affect my enjoyment of my time on this earth. And so the fact that there are so many people who get so mad at the smallest of things. Like,
and this
they
is
didn't call
where-
this guy up from AAA. How dare they? I'm never going to watch a game again. Fine. Don't watch a game.
Yeah.
It's probably good for your health.
Yeah.
It'll probably
Because
lower your
you're-
cholesterol.
But this is where I have good and bad feelings about the Minnesota sports community. Bad because they, just like every other sports community, have all of the trolling and guys just so mad about everything. But at the end of the day, you got Paul Allen, who doesn't matter how many wins the Vikings have, he's going to roll into the studio just like, let's go.
Just caffeinated and ready
Get that
to go.
Minnesota moving company out there, even when it was the worst offensive line in the history of the NFL. It was the Minnesota moving company, and next week they're going to be on top of their game. Or
it doesn't-
at the end of the season, someone on the Minnesota Twins Twitter puts together, "We can build this dream together," a compilation of every fielding and throwing error the Minnesota Twins committed during the season. And it's beautiful because it's a game and it's fun.
And I will never forget when the MLB was in the shortened season. I know for me, like during COVID, doing this was helpful just
Yes.
to like talk to other humans
Yeah.
and like
Oh,
think about
absolutely.
sports.
Oh, that was-
Yeah.
Because there were no sports.
No.
There were literally no sports.
Yeah.
But
We
that,
were doing breakfast food debates on this show.
which arguably was one of our greatest episodes.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we realized it was like how communal sports can be.
It's
and
something to come together
Yes. Yeah.
from every walk of life. You can go to a Minnesota Twins game, sit down surrounded by people who you would never have met beforehand. I went to a Twins game as part of a bachelor party. Ended up putting 30 hats on my head, given to people who were sitting. The guys behind us were also at a bachelor party, and we got free hats. They gave them all to me so I could stack 30 hats on top of my head. It was a miraculous moment of community. I never would have met these people otherwise, and it was awesome because it's just people getting together around a common thing.
There are so many times that I've been at a baseball game. I've been at a football game, whatever it has been, just sitting down. And I'll give an example. Cardinals game a few years ago, Harrison Bader hits a triple in the top of the ninth to go ahead 3-2 over the Reds. That was the first Cardinals win I saw in 10 years in person.
Dang.
First time in a decade. And I'm sitting there, I'm freaking pumped. And around me, I'm sitting with Christian and my grandpa. I'm high-fiving literally
Yes.
everyone around me. Everyone in that section got a high five.
Even when I went to a Twins game at the White Sox Stadium, surrounded by Southside Chicagoers, big White Sox fans, the Twins creamed them. Max Kepler hit a home run on the first pitch of the game. I was up cheering, and everyone around me were joking around. I stand up to cheer a home run. Hey, sinner! Get out from there!
Shut up. Yes.
We were working out deals like, well, if the White Sox hit a home run and I catch it, I'll give you the ball, but you got to give me yours. If Max Kepler swings one out here, like, you're gonna hand it over.
Yeah.
And like, it's even the opposing teams. You're like, you're just there.
Yep.
You hate each other, quote unquote, but you don't actually.
Right.
I
bigger
forget,
than that.
Yeah.
I forgot who, I saw an interview somewhere. I forget who said it. But when they were talking about their love of the game, it was, I take what I do very seriously. I do not take myself seriously
Yeah.
at all. And so knowing that these players are going, whether it's baseball or it's football, and for the 60 minutes they're on the gridiron, or for the 9 innings that they're out on the field,
For the 14 hours that a baseball game could potentially take.
they are so focused on what they're doing. But as soon as they're done, they're normal people. They're hanging
Yeah.
out. They're having a good time. They are appreciating where they're at. That's why I think I love Lars Nootbaar so much, because he is just so much fun to watch. And you can tell he's having a great time doing what he's doing.
There's a reason guys do jersey swaps after games.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're just fans of the other guys as much as we are.
I
Like,
saw-
we're just there to watch dudes who are good at a sport or women who are good at a sport go whale. Just do what they do.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
I saw a really fun video from last season when the Cowboys played the Colts. Stephon Gilmore was going to do a jersey swap with Micah Parsons. But Trayvon Diggs came in because both Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs love Stephon Gilmore. And so they're both they're fighting over who's going to get Stephon Gilmore's jersey after the game. Like they're, 9-year-old kids in the backyard. And now Stephon Gilmore is their teammate.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's sick.
It's just,
That's so sick.
it's so much
So good.
fun and
Yeah.
bringing people together from across different backgrounds, from across different cities, countries, whatever it is, bringing this all full circle. It just, how you can be mad about players wanting to play in the World Baseball Classic, how you can be mad about your team not doing exactly what you want to do. That's not what you would do if you were in that situation. Who gives one flying
Fudge.
bleep?
Thank you.
Thank you. It's sport. It's a
Yeah.
game. It's a literal game. Just grab a beer, have a good time, high five a stranger.
Yeah.
What else do you need?
Hit the mic stand and go boom.
Yeah, I've been hitting the mic stand so much.
Yeah, there's a feel good rap to this one.
That really
was
was.
good.
Yeah. The hashtag yes, no. Hashtag want it good. Want good.
Hashtag you want good.
you want good.
Hashtag Romo 2020. Hashtag Anthony should choose the Vikings. Hashtag Teddy's job. Hashtag Spoof or Boof. Hashtag Kevin. Hashtag Minshew Man. Hashtag Jolt the Bolts. Hashtag Cobb Bosses. Hashtag Kiss Carter. Hashtag Plug Me In. Hashtag Heck Offstand. Hashtag WTF WFT. Hashtag Bill the Puma. Hashtag It Wing. Hashtag Chow. Hashtag Hire Jacob Schneider. Hashtag Ham Sandwich. Hashtag Base Food Basscocker. Hashtag Ohio Does Exist. Hashtag I Didn't Need a Hold On Let's Pause. Hashtag Fix the Mic for Mike. Hashtag Who's Your Badwagon. Hashtag PJ Fleck Elite. Hashtag Quick Trip with 2 C's. Hashtag Girth. Hashtag Craig. Hashtag Juice It. Hashtag Herberted. Hashtag How Dare Us. Hashtag You Want Good.
Man, that's 2 grammatically incorrect ones back to back. How dare us and you want good. But the bandwagon reminded me very quickly. We had this discussion earlier, Anthony. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers might be the new bandwagon.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield on a team that should be collapsing.
And I'm gonna look at their cap situation. It is not
Bad.
pretty.
It's very bad.
Yeah, weren't they like 40 million over the cap
It
or
is
something like that?
Real
Just like,
rough.
That's that was funny. You typed in Tampa Bay cap and then it came up with pictures of hats. But dude, that's
also,
an
can I
interesting
just make
one.
a comment about the new brand of like thermos water bottles called Stanley? When I wanted to figure out when the Stanley Cup was happening, I googled Stanley Cup and all I got was Stanley Cups. I was like, excuse you.
That has to be copyright infringement
Like you
somehow,
can't
right?
just no, because it's Stanley. They're not Stanley Cups. They're just Stanley.
They're just
But
Stanley
they are a cup.
cups. Cups of Stanley.
I had to scroll like page 2 to get the dates of Stanley Cup. I was like, this is rude.
That is stupid.
Google's algorithm should know enough about me that I don't
Yeah.
I don't want this.
Yeah, they it looks like they have a little bit of cap space, about $4 million. They have $74 million in dead cap space.
That's good.
Oh my
That's good.
gosh.
That's good.
That's a third of the cap.
Dude, just dead. Just gone.
No one.
Oh
no
my
one
God.
is taking that up on their team.
Dude, I don't know. I
And
think
this is
Baker
the other
Mayfield's
fun part of
trash, but-
sports is because it's just
It's a crapshoot.
Yeah, it is
so
always.
fun.
That's an interesting one. We'll have to report back.
We'll report back on the bandwagon situation.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. Bucker Mayfield.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I hate
Okay,
that
how
actually.
about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I don't know if that's better, to be honest.
It is, but only slightly.
Tampa Baker.
I don't know, man. I
From
just
all of
don't
us
like
here at
Baker
the Q4
Mayfield.
podcast. I'm just going to wrap this one up. From all of us here at the Q4 podcast. I don't know how you usually end these, TJ.
Thanks for
but-
listening. You'll see us next time.
Before we do that, I'm going to crank the low pass filter from all of us here at the Q4 podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
I'm drooling.
Feel that in my chest.
That was the most incredible Sonic experience in my life.
I'm drooling.